We hope you've enjoyed this audiobook presentation by Phil Dragish, which was designed and edited and all that stuff by himself. And, of course, we have music from Howard Shore, which is from the Lord of the Rings films, and, of course, sound effects from various parts of the New Line Cinema trilogy of films they made from 2001 to 2003. Well, of course, it's not really 2003, because the extended versions they came out in 2004, so it basically was from 1996 or 7 to 2004. That was The Fellowship of the Ring. The first part of The Lord of the Rings. And I can't believe I finished it. So, it started in March 2010, but then again, the only thing I was doing is I decided to, it was just like little demos, but the real part, people said, start from the beginning, it'll be a better idea, and I was like, well, but then I decided to do it with from the beginning, and then I started that in August, so from August to April, I didn't really take a lot of, it didn't occupy most of my time, of course, and if it would, I guess it would have done a little bit earlier, but then again, it would be strenuous for me to do it, because I do it all myself, and on a crappy computer, on a really, really slow computer, and render times and all that, it's just, I'm glad it's all over. Anyway, I have compiled a few questions, because of course no one will want to, if anybody has any, I thought it would be appropriate to top it all off with a little last words about the Fellowship of the Ring, the audiobook. Of course, it's very, very fractured, and it's far from perfect. But of course, in due time, I might be able to fix those errors that I had. Anyway, let's get this done. So, I decided to just make a little video, which you're watching right now, why am I talking in a British accent? That's not my real accent. My real accent is actually American, and it's really stupid. And speaking in an English accent helps a lot, because it takes away from the laziness, and it makes you sound more intellectual. So I thought it would be appropriate to just make a conclusion with a few, many outtakes that happened, throughout the course of recording this audiobook. And I hope you find it entertaining, and I hope you find it insightful, because I actually made some questions, I wrote some questions that I think people would probably want to hear explained as to why, how, and what will happen in the future of this pathetic little channel. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because no one's going to ask me those questions anyway. So I just decided to ask it myself. So here we have a few questions, and the first question would be, what parts did you like to do? Well, as I was reading the book, I always thought the most epic parts, Khazad-dûm, the Balrog, Amon-Hen, all that good stuff, post-Rivendell, was the real stuff, the real stuff as a youngster watching Lord of the Rings in 2002 and cared little for what I thought was boring stuff at the beginning of this book. But I soon came to realize after recording them, is that I actually really like doing all the Eriador stuff more than the stuff, I say stuff a lot, across the Misty Mountains. It just felt more northern, more cooler, and more grounded in what is possibly more relatable. I really like doing the whole trekking through the wilderness between Bree and Rivendell and the Shire stuff. In fact, opposite to my thoughts as a kid, that was the most fun to do. It really felt less perilous altogether. More adventurous in a weird, ironic sort of way. So yes, I actually like doing the Eriador stuff more than I did the stuff with Balrogs and Khazad-dûms and stuff after the Misty Mountains. But still, they're all really cool, and I like them a lot. But I thought that the Ringwraith and the forests and it sort of felt more. I don't know. I just enjoyed it in a weird way, just more. Why did you want to do this? Well, I wanted to do this because I always thought that because Lord of the Rings was such a detailed and heavy, structured, really dense with detail book, just describing everything, because, the author knew what he was doing when he was just having such a blast doing all this. And I thought, the movie did a pretty good job at, fleshing it all out. But, of course, they took their own liberties for the cinematic value and, trying to follow a certain film structure. And, of course, That's all good and dandy and everything, but I think that's where that's where it's challenging. You got to be creative and try to be as accurate to the book, but still make it dramatic, still make it interesting. And I think that they could have done a little bit of a better job with that. But I made a lot of money. Everybody liked it, so can't complain. I can, but everybody else says, well, it's fine, leave it. But I wanted to do this because, yeah, exactly. Just, try to dramatize the entire thing, make it feel like you're actually in that world and these events are actually happening, because the way it's documented, the way it's written feels like it was documented, and it felt like it was real, and that was one of the main reasons why it's such a cool idea to try to make it sound like you're actually there. Did I make sense? Who knows? Let's continue.
What was your favourite voice?
Well, my favourite voice were, of course, Butterbur and Gimli, because they're all very, very deep voices. And Saruman, Christopher Lee, Saruman, and Gandalf, and all those. I always liked doing those voices, because I wish my voice was a little bit low. I wish it could drop a few octaves and sound like Ian McKellen talking, but I can't. So that's why I always like challenging myself, and of course it sounds very different to my original voice. Why am I speaking in a British accent? I don't know. And it's not even a real one. It's kind of like, very, very neutral, and not at all part of any sort of dialect or, accent that it happens in Britain. Yeah, that was my favourite voice. I like doing those, but of course I like doing all of them, and I hope I did get an accurate sort of flavour of each of the actors that played the parts in Lord of the Rings, the movie. But of course it's also good to note that I do not intend to be a voice actor or a voice person. I mean, it's fun to do. It's great, and it would be nice to have like this high job for that and everything. It was super cool and everything, because I can do it. But, that's not what I would like to be, and it would be nice to just, say that out loud and say I'd like to, what I really like doing is I really like taking this, and, I don't like saying directing, but that's what I like doing. It's fun. It's the funnest fun I've ever funned, and it's fun, fun. F for fun. And that's what I like doing. That's my main thing, man. I find no better joy than to just get actors and tell them what to do. And, get people and just, make movies. Okay. Next question. Why is it based on the visual universe of the films? Well, of course, I was introduced to the Lord of the Rings with the Ralph Bakshi cartoon, but that was in 2000, and after I watched it I was confused and I didn't understand what was going on at all, and it really did not leave any sort of impression on me. The only thing I knew was that, it's C.S. Lewis's friend. I knew about Narnia Chronicles and everything, so that's all I thought. That's all I knew about it. And then, of course, when the Lord of the Rings came out in 2001, I was kind of reluctant to watch it because I thought it was going to be some sort of Shakespearean sort of not unrealistic play where Frodo would be, "Oh, my brothers, hence we're down in this raggedy land, what shall we do?" And that was my impression, and of course it was completely wrong when I finally went to watch it on DVD. Sadly, I didn't watch it in theaters, but all the other ones I did after watching the first one. I was hooked, wanted to watch the cartoon again. I was like, now I understand what's going on, and and that's why all the images of the film sort of were ingrained into my mind. But of course, there are many things that they've done that were good in the films, of course, and many things that they've done that weren't so good and could be verbessert in German, fixed, and upgraded, made better, and made more accurate to what Tolkien wrote, because he was such a descriptive writer. And he had the dramatic intuition. He knew exactly, and naturally and non-cheesily how to get all this drama going from events starting from point A to point B, and, twisting it and doing what you can to make the narrative really cool and, dialogue very good and all that stuff. However, it's long, but that's what books are for. They're supposed to be big and long if they're good, and, don't have a problem with it. And that's why it was based on the visual universe, and of course we have all that music that's very good. And, it's just what more people are familiar with, especially my generation, which, grew up on them, sort of, in early teenagers, and, we all sort of got inspired by it. And of course the question that people ask me for real all the time is, please do Two Towers and Return of the King, please! And yes, I would love to do those two, but the thing is, I have to do other things. That's the whole problem. I have a lot of other things that I like to be pursuing and doing, and this was a great thing. I don't doubt that this was really fun to do and everything, but I really would like to do 2000 Return of the King, especially since I can do Gollum, Smeagol voice, and it would be really fun to have Smeagol talking in all the original dialogue that was, and I could do a fresh spin on it, and we can see, not a fresh spin, I mean alter it a little bit, so it'll be you'll see more layers of Gollum, and that would be great. And of course I tried Treebird, and that works, so those are the two hurdles that I had to come across, and I succeeded, and it was great. It's going to be fine. So yes, I will do Two Towers, but it will not come as frequent as Fellowship of the Ring was, because that was sort of the thing that I was like, let's get this done, and I'll be finished with it, and it'll be done. So the next ones will come along eventually, but for right now, we're going to have to wait just a little bit. I might start with the first 2 chapters, but I'm thinking we're going to leave it on hold for then. I'm sorry, but, I think people's got other things to do. And what will happen next? Well, okay, so this is the last question, and I will leave you at that. The next thing I'm going to do with this channel, the reason why I even did this video is just to tell you that this channel will go on, and I'll be uploading other things. Of course, it's called Phil's Stuff of Doom and not called Lord of the Rings reading, so I'll just put everything that I can... Oh, no, I'm an American accent now. And I'll just put everything that, that all the projects and stuff on Phil's Stuff of Doom that does not concern the dubs that we do, which we kind of don't do anymore, on Lord Phillock 8, which is the dubbing channel, which will most likely eventually get taken down for copyright crap, and stuff that's not any other of my channels. So this is sort of the channel that I'd like to put stuff that I kind of think is more important, sort of, that's not funny. It is funny, I mean, like, stuff that's not, that doesn't belong on any of the other channels. So this is going to be Phil's Stuff of Doom, and I'm going to be putting more things and other projects, maybe another audio project, I don't know, something. But Lord of the Rings will, inch by inch, it will come through. That's all I'm going to say. And, I hope you had fun reading. I hope you don't think this is going to be like, I'm unsubscribing now. And, it's fine if you do. I don't mind. It's all good, Do what you must, do what you want. It's all fine. I'm just going to continue uploading various things, and it's not going to be Lord of the Rings centric. Now I sound like Patrick Stewart for some reason. And yes, now in my Patrick Stewart voice, I'm going to say, good day to you. And yes, that sounded like Ian McKellen now. X-Men. There will be many other things to come. So, don't know what to say. I think I've said all that I could. Thank you very much for being helpful and commenting. Commenting is wonderful, and thank you very much. And I will continue doing what I can. I said this 3 times now. I'm done. Goodbye. Thank you for reading and listening, and there will be more. Don't worry. More directing. Directing. That is the way to go. For me. The third choice is to stay here. Until the end. Until what end? Until you reveal to me where the One may be found.
I may find means to persuade you, or until it is found in your despite, and the ruler has time to turn to larger matters. To devise, say, a fitting reward for the hindrance and insolence of Gandalf the Grey. That may not prove to be one of the lighter matters, said I. He laughed at me, for my words were empty, and he knew it. Suddenly, 20 gigantic hulking orcs came from either side of the doors. Of course, I blasted each and every one of those miserable servants of the Dark Lord in tiny bits. Not long after, I stared at Saruman as if he had something to do with this strange misfortune. I was right. He was indeed in league with the Dark Lord of Mordor, for that explained the 20 gigantic hulking orcs charging at me from either side of the doors. It was a long, painful, but exciting battle. I hit a few grunts, sizzled up a dozen orc heads, took down a commander, and then 3 archer units. Brilliant! Said I in the midst of the chaos. This counts as 2,350 experience points! At this rate I shall upgrade to greater mage in less than half an hour. But before that time was to happen, Saruman clocked me on my forehead with his heavy but very nice-looking staff, and I fell unconscious. Some more orcs took me, and they set me alone on the pinnacle of Orthanc, in the place where Saruman was accustomed to watch the stars. There is no descent save by a narrow stair of many thousand steps, and the valley below seems far away. So what could one do? I stood up straight, leaned back, and gave a maniacal yell that was heard from there all the way to the Ritter Mark at the Golden Hall of the King. What was that, Grima?
Nothing, my lord. Just a dying peasant or something.
Then I got saved or something or other by an eagle. The end.
Outtakes? Then be comforted, said Elrond, for there are other powers that I can't do with. Gold is gold and thin as paper. Thin as paper. Talk in a British accent now, okay? Let us begin. P-p-b-p. Yes. P-p-b-p-p-p. Okay. The cloud. See? Above. I should like that Jacob would not move with his chair, because it makes sounds. Did you hear that?
What?
Don't shift a little bit, it's too loud. There was a younger dwarf at Glowing Signed. How does Sean Bean talk? So this is it. This is what the... Isildur took it, looked at it, gave it a good look, kept looking at it for a long time. Galdor of the Havens, who sat nearby, overheard him. How does Galdor of the Havens sound like? Okay, so you have to say, "You speak for me also."
One way. Where is it? Okay, give me an idea what it sound like.
He's an old guy. He's a little bit older because he's an older elf from the Grey Havens. He's the guy with...
You speak for me also.
Difficult.
Yes. You speak for me also.
How about this one?
You speak for me also.
He's the guy... You remember at the beginning of...
You speak for me
remember
also.
the 3 rings were made, remember? And then there's Galadriel, and then there's one...
Ooh, okay, yeah,
the older guy.
Okay.
That's the guy.
You speak for me also.
Yeah, that sounds like...
That sounds like
Eomer. That sounds like a game.
You speak for me also.
No,
I would like some bread and water.
Bread and wine, my highness. My highness. Whoopsie.
Excuse me, princess. cried Legolas, and his fair elvish face there Legolas. Nothing. Legolas is gonna talk. Should I talk like Orlando Bloom? Alas! I know, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Alas! When is the pizza done? An hour 25? Let's see what we have. Now we have to do Saruman. Ah, more than halfway.
The Shire, Saruman, Lord of the Ring. Have you indeed, Gandalf? Have you?
Okay, good. Time was when a squirrel could go from tree to tree, Time was when a squirrel could go... We must send the ring to the fire. Dun dun dun. Why should we not think that the great ring had... Why should we not think that the great ring has come into our hands to serve us in the very hour of need? Wielding it, the free lords of the free... Ugh. What do you think of MJ's Rising is? No, you thought it was called MJ's Lightning Bolt Action? How does Radagast sound?
Gandalf! I was seeking you!
No. Gandalf! Yeah, that sounds good. Gandalf! He cried. I was seeking you. That sounds like Gandalf again. I was seeking you. But I am a stranger in these parts. All I knew was that you might be found in the wild region in the uncouth name of the I was seeking you. That sounds like Dumbledore.
Eternal glory.
I was seeking you.
I was seeking you, Gandalf.
But I'm a stranger in these parts. But I am a stranger in these parts. All I knew was that you might be found in the wild region with the uncouth name of Shire.
Your information was correct.
Gandalf! No. I shall do this later.
Ah, and where will they live? That's what I always wonder. Ah, pooh.
That lay now upon the breast of Thorin under the lonely mountain.
And they brew a beer so brown that the man jumped over the moon. Oh.
Bilbo huddled in a cloak Bilbo huddled... Gimli the dwarf alone wore openly a short... The first part of their... Frodo gazed wearily at the flakes still falling out of the dark. Quiet. As the light grew stronger, it showed a silent, shrouded, shapeless deeps. I made little smoke, and that burned low before the Crabine came. Crabine. They are not natives here, they are Crabine. They are not natives here, they are Crabane. Crabine. Then, swift as a runner over a firm sand, he shot away, and quickly overtaking the toiling men. In places it had been scooped and piled. Aragorn fondled him. He led the way, and Aragorn followed him. From out of the shadow, a red sword leaped. What's his name? What's that guy's name? I'll hook you up with Robert De Niro. From out of the shadow a red sword leaped flaming. Crap, already an hour? Well, it's like 40 minutes. How does Boromir sound? For Gondor! That sounds so wimpy. Gondor! Gondor! At the end of the hole, the floor vanished. I think it's chasm. A black chasm. Yeah, I know. Boromir laughed. Ha 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 ha! Ha ha ha! And stuck there like a black feather. Isn't that cool? Another pierced Gandalf's hat arrow, and struck there like a black feather. Boing!
What was it?
Gandalf, like a little...
Feather?
Yeah.
Oh.
Arrow. Boing! It descended a flight of steps, 50 or more, to a lower level. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Gandalf came flying down the steps and fell to the ground in the midst of the company. Oh! Gimli hewed the legs of... Blah, blah, blah. You have a good blade, Frodo, son of Drogo. Yes. Swords are no more use here. Go! Go! Oh! Oh! Alan! Oh! Oh! Frodo! Frodo! No! Where are you, Gimli? Gimli! Where are you, Gimli? To the bridge of Khazad-dûm. Dun, dun, dun. Kill the troll! There is no sound. There is no sound. There is no sound. It plainly... No! Oh, I'm so bad at Gandalf today. That sounded like... The Shire! That sounded like Pippin. The Shire! The Shire! No, that sounds like Pippin again. Aragorn! The Shire! That sounds like Merry. It doesn't sound like Pip. That doesn't sound like Frodo. I'm trying to do Frodo here. Frodo. Who comes? But struck the northern wall. But struck the northern wall. Here's my problem. How would you say Legolas says this? Okay, this is how it's spelled. A-I, right? A-I, just I, right? And Legolas says this twice. I! Wailed Legolas. So how's he gonna wail? I! It's supposed to be in complete and utter pants-wetting terror. I don't know. I need to tinkle! Hi! You see, that's stupid.
Sounds like he's farting. Sounds like he's going to the bathroom. Hi!
Hi!
That sounds like well.
That's okay. Hi!
He's running his own world music.
Hi! What?
His own world music,
Hi! If I open this, maybe it'll help. Hi! This is the most difficult thing in the world. Hi! That's it, I'm done. A Balrog! No, this sounds stupid. A Balrog! A Balrog! A Balrog! A Balrog has come! A Balrog has come! A Balrog! A Balrog has come! A Balrog has come! And cloven shields and helms Zack Snyder, helming Superman 1,000 years ago. And on the other side of the... What was that? It was like the warrior from Gauntlet Legends. And no hope at all if they're... And no hope at all if they're... And no hope at all if they're... And no hope at all if they ever... Frodo and Gimli, standing at his side, could see as he gingerly... Yeah. What hope do we have now without you? What... It froze! Oh, man. Oh, there we go. What hope do we... But its southern end was beyond the shadows under the sunlit sky. Sunlit sky. I said that, didn't I? But its southern end. But its southern end was beyond the shadows under the sunlit sky. Watch Doctor Who and bother me no more, Jacob. Go away. Yet its walls... They sat and rested and ate a little wood. They sat and rested and ate a little food. When Frodo came at last up to the up... Alas! I fear we have not. I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn, lord of many things if I am king someday. We will not go to Moria. I thought you were watching Doctor Who.
I was. I'm losing right now.
But what I have heard seems to me to be the most... But what I have heard seems to me, for the most part, of old wives' tales, such as we tell to our children. I can't do this. The wetwang, as it is called in your tongue. The wetwang, as it is called in your tongue. I know, Jacob, I know. I laughed so hard when I listened to the audiobook. I was like, what? Yeah. The wetwang, as it is called in your tongue. All that lies north of Rohan is... And that's the end of my wetwanging. They're the Entwash and the wetwang. they're the...
No wonder that guy can make that gay thing, remember? Splicing all those things.
Where'd you find that?
No, I didn't find it. Tim sent it.
I never...
Go looking for that kind of crap.
Several aloes. It was not, I think, until Silverlord shoulders and as the midmost stood somewhat toward from the... But it is... Wondering if Gondor choice, but when it became plain that Frodo would allow Aragorn... But when it became plain that Frodo would follow Aragorn wherever he... The pillars of the kings! Cried Aragorn. They were drawing near to the hill. Now they were speeding along with little hope of stopping and turning. Now they were speeding along with little hope of... Now they were speeding along with little hope of stopping or turning. I saw what I took to be a log floating along in half. At first he stared at it. They were tired and sleepy, and their hearts were tired and sleepy. Here and there through openings, Frodo could catch sudden glimpses of rolling meads, eager to hurry southwards. They were content that the decision would... What pestilence? For a whole day they took to their straddles. For the whole day they took to their paddles and hastened forward. Last chapter. The breaking of the fellowship.
Miserable trickster!
Oh, crap.
But I am too strong for you! But I am too strong for you, halfling! Halfling! Come back! Frodo, I'm sorry!
I don't have to. I just need... Now that I have your undivided attention, I shall continue. Chapter 7, The Mirror of Galadriel. No error so far. But we cannot...
You watched since you're on HP?
Hmm?
Sure you're on.
Yeah. Short, for the city is great. Why does my nose always itch? By a living bough, there sat, side by side, Celeborn. Tell me, where is Gandalf? For much desire to speak with him. And Galadriel. I'm evil. They stood up to greet their guests. Very tall they were, and the lady no less tall than the lord, and they were grave and beautiful. I just remembered the "Mi parte," said Celeborn. This is going great. This is the best time I've had it so far. Wonder came into his face, and then he smiled in answer. Beautiful. He rose clumsily and bowed in dwarf fashion, saying,
Yet more fair is the living land of Lorien, and the Lady Galadriel is above all the jewels that lie beneath the earth.
There was a silence. At length Celeborn spoke again. I do not want you talking like that about my wife. Now you shall rest, and we will not speak of your further road for a while. No. That night the problem is now... Oh yeah, you must not read from the book. We should watch that again. But I remember I watched it with Andrew, and he's like, keep the lights on. Like, because we had the dimmer back then.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And of their day's journey, and of the Lord and Lady, to turn aside from the road and leave the quest and the war against Sauron to others. Only snatches remained, faded as a handful of withered leaves. Okay, so Frodo has to sing this song, and I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to say it, so... I'm content, and I don't miss Gandalf's fireworks, but his bushy eyebrows and his quick temper, and his voice.
Ah!
You guys like alive? Yeah! I can know again.
Caras Galathon. And passing through a high... You shall look and see what you may. But do not touch the water. And keep off the grass. But this time they were not so close. And he could see what was going on. Lots of folk were busily at work. There was a tall red chimney nearby. I can't... You cannot go home alone, and you cannot step on the grass. Things, and not all have yet come to pass. Some never come to be, unless those that behold the visions turn aside from their path to prevent them. The mirror is dangerous as a guide of deeds. And why do you have it? Or I would not have brought you here. Do as you will.
I shall,
lady, I shall.
Once the mirror cleared and he saw a twilit land, a toilet land, full of toilet paper. On one of his many lonely journeys long ago? Or was it Saruman? Or was it Saruman? And Frodo sighed, and prepared to draw away. That was the Siege of Gondor part there. You see the ship with the... That's when Aragorn comes in with all the pirate ships. No, Frodo sees it in the mirror. A window into nothing. Ashnas. I am Sauron, building an army. Then the eye began to roll. Ever wholly be assuaged. Yet they will...
What was that from?
Yet they will cast... Galadriel laughed with a sudden clear laugh. Ah, 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 ah. I'm not going to do that. According to the measure of each processor... of each possessor... Let us go. Oi. So now I just have this.
Just had to move the list.
I forgot to have that forever.
Oh, no, is it done?
I'm done reading it.
Huh?